Here we're going to look at solving equations that involve exponents. So example 1, our directions are to solve the following equations and include all possible exact simplified answers. So when we are solving these, we still follow our don't call me after midnight rules. All right, just at the end, we have to deal with that exponent. So for A, we still start by adding 5 to both sides, which brings us to x squared equals 16. Okay. From here, to undo the squared, we do the inverse of squaring a number, which is square rooting. So we square root both sides of the equation to cancel out the squared on the left. And then on the right side, the square root of 16 is 4. Now, something special that happens when you square root two sides of an equation is we get two answers. So one of our answers is x equals 4. Our second answer is also -4. And the reason is, if we were to look at the calculator, 4 times 4 equals 16. But also, -4 times -4 equals 16. So when we're square rooting, it is possible to get two solutions as your answer. Specifically, when you are square rooting a positive number, you get two solutions. So we have 4 and -4 there. All right, for part B here, subtract 17 to both sides to start. That gives us 6x squared equals -12. And then we divide by 6 to get x squared equals -2. And then we square root both sides. Now here, because we are square rooting a negative, we cannot get a solution because there's no real number that when you multiply it to itself, you get it equal to a negative. When we multiply a positive times a positive, that's always positive. And we multiply a negative times a negative, that's also positive. So anytime we are square rooting a negative number, our solution is really no solution, because we cannot square root a negative number. All right, two more here. C, we start by distributing our 2 there. So 2x squared minus 6 equals 34. And we add 6 to both sides, get 2x squared equals 40. And then divide by 2, get x squared is equal to 20. And then like before, we square root both sides. Okay. Now, the square root of 20 is not a perfect square. So what we're going to do is we're going to type this into the calculator, square root of 20, and it gives us it as the square, or 2 times the square root of 5. So what the calculator does is something called simplifying. It simplifies this radical, square root of 20, into 2 square root of 5. So we're going to write 2 square root of 5. And instead of writing negative square root of 5 next to that, another way we can do this is just write plus and minus to represent positive and negative square root of 5, or 2 square root of 5. Okay, so you can just put that plus minus to represent both answers. All right, last one, D here. We start by dividing 8 to both sides. X squared equals 0. Then we square root both sides, and we get x equals 0. Now, because there's no positive and negative, 0 is a unique number, this is only a one solution answer. So when you end up square rooting 0, you're just going to get one solution, which is x equals 0.